Hello, my name is Thomas Murphy of the Family Album.
My name is Thomas Murphy. The sound of the 50s and the 60s.
The sound of the 50s.
The synthesizer.
AJ has been writing scripts for every episode.
That's right.
If anything I say is funny, know that AJ wrote it in advance, and I've just been reading.
He's scribbling away right now, actually.
At the 3-minute mark, Tom will say Matt's famous catchphrase from season 2, Matta Rat-a-Tata.
I missed that phrase.
I had my playlist on shuffle at work. What was it was like 3 songs back to back.
Oh, dude.
Oh, it was X-Men 97 theme song.
Love it.
The periodic table of elements.
Epic.
I can't remember.
And then Snoop Dogg.
I see.
Back to back.
The holy trinity of your music taste.
It felt good.
Welcome back to another episode of Tom Hates Albums.
Sorry, I had a burp.
I'm your host, AJ Tenari.
I'm Matt Glass.
And I'm Tom Murphy.
Last month, we took a look. It was our Christmas special. We took a look at Phil Spector's A Christmas Gift for You from Phil Spector.
And it was a Christmas gift to all to
That it
listen
was.
to.
It was certainly a miracle that we got through it.
That's true. That's true.
On 34th Street, which is where this bunker is located.
We can't give that away, man.
Our longitudinal latitude coordinates.
It's a different 34th Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't ask what city or Providence, Rhode Island. It's where it is. Never mind.
Yeah, no, we're on 34th Street, Providence, Rhode Island. If you go there to these coordinates.
Yes, in the description.
We, of course, have another album that we've brought to Tom.
That we have.
And this album is OK Computer by Radiohead.
Yeah.
An album that I keep almost saying OK Human because that's a Weezer album.
Got that Weezer brain rot.
And I really do,
With
actually.
AI these days, it's hard to tell the difference between humans and computers. Am I right?
Tom, that was so topical.
This whole podcast is AI generated.
AJI.
AJI.
We predicted it.
That'd be
Drake sleeping.
God, shout out to Spotify who actually did that to tell me about my listening habits.
God,
that was wild.
Did we just do the Evan reference of the week? I think that was our Evan reference of the week.
Guys, let's sound the bell. Sound the Evan bell.
Ring the bell.
The Evan bell.
OK Computer. There's really no reason why we're covering it here this month specifically. I guess it's a cold album on a cold month. It is also the first Tom Hates Albums of 2025. That's pretty exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
They brought me into the new year.
That we have. You made the cut, Tom.
They can't get rid of me.
We couldn't if we tried.
There's no cure to this infection. Matta Rat-a-Tata.
Shall we hop into a little bit of history?
I think we shall.
All right. So OK Computer was released May 21st, 1997 on Parlophone and Capitol Records and is the third studio album by beloved English rock band Radiohead. It's one of the most acclaimed albums in their catalog and a crucial part of MU Core. It was nominated for Album of the Year at the 1998 Grammys, is part of the 1001 Albums to Listen to Before You Die, and has been entered in the U.S. Library of Congress to the National Recording Registry.
Along with Spy Kids.
Along with Spy Kids.
Finally.
Yes.
Finally.
OK Computer is basically the Spy Kids of the music industry.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Don't disrespect Spy Kids like that ever again.
Well, I guess with that, should we get into some predictions then?
Is that what time it is? It's prediction time. My favorite. I finally heard it in an episode recently, and it was
immaculate.
Tom, I am going to hedge all of my bets that you despised this album. I don't think, I usually don't say where I think it falls in, your overall album ranking. I think this might probably be below American Football. While it does have more action than American Football in terms of its energy and its volume even, I don't... At least American Football wasn't as, down in the dumps.
Yeah.
Which, I personally liked. But I think it's going to be around there if we want to add that in my predictions. But also, I'm going to say that you're going to give this, honestly, a 2.5. I do not think you cared for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Actually, 3. We're sticking at 3.
Going to 3.
3, final answer.
Locking in.
Yeah.
All
3.
right. Bet.
I don't think you like this album at all.
Matt, I share very similar opinions to you. I think you did not like this album at all either. 2.5 was going to be my ranking. And since you switched to 3, I'm gonna take that. I'm going to say 2.5. Yeah, I don't think you really cared for this album. I think you thought it was boring. I think you did not care for Tom York as a vocalist and you found him annoying. And I think you thought that it was very slow and uninteresting. That's my prediction.
Okay. I pulled up my ranking from like my previous rankings list that I
Yeah.
have. I haven't updated it with any of the newer stuff yet. But I do want to remind you, said you think it's below American football. I did give American football a 1.5 out of 10. so you have doubled the score.
That is
a good
true.
point. Forget the album placement ranking thing, because I guess that would be wrong. But Tom, give us your broad thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, computer, what'd you think?
I don't know if that picked up on the mic, but I gave it a half-hearted sigh.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to confirm or deny any of your predictions. You were kind of close at the very least.
Okay.
I haven't landed on exactly where I'm gonna
We'll wait till final
rank
thoughts.
it out of 10. We're gonna find out in the moment exactly how I'm feeling. But
Whatever it
I
says
did,
in the script.
Exactly.
I did take a decent amount of notes on this one, and I don't know if many of them are positive. So let me just run through
Track
the
by track,
tracks.
all
Let me
right.
just run through them. Feel free to jump in and disagree.
It's okay.
Airbag was the first song.
Mhm.
I didn't care for that last minute. It got like weird and like experimental, and I have a feeling both of you are like, that last minute is some of the greatest music I've ever heard, and I'm thrilled for you, but I thought it was annoying.
Not of that song. I'd say there's another song on here where I honestly rave about like the second half of it.
Mhm.
I ended up giving that one a 3 out of 10. Paranoid Android, I wrote, this is so bad to me. Maybe worse than the first song because it's longer.
Well,
Just
That's
Yeah.
fair, honestly.
it's just one of those things where I've made this point in the past where if something's good and it's long, that's great. But if something is bad, the longer it is, the worse. Because
I wouldn't say bad. I just said you didn't like it.
Well, it's bad. It's bad
Tom
to me.
misspoken.
I hate albums. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and Elvis.
and Elvis
and Paul Simon.
I almost said Phil Collins. I love Phil Collins.
Yeah. Phil
Paul
Spector.
Simon. Phil Spector could
Yeah.
go fuck himself.
That's true.
He's probably dead, right?
He is dead.
Oh, he's very dead. Yeah.
Good.
Died in prison.
Maybe I shouldn't say good, just in case.
Well, he killed
did-
somebody.
he did kill his wife. Not his
good.
wife,
I'll
but-
take a
yeah.
stand then.
Yeah. Fuck Phil
Fuck that
Spector.
guy.
Voice of
Hey,
the people.
Hey, can we edit that out? I'm a little anxious.
The gang laughs, and Tom says, "Can we edit that out?" Sorry, I'm
Nata
just-
Tatarata, am I right?
I'm just reading the script, guys. Sorry, I thought that was dialogue. It's stage notes.
Yeah.
Now your delivery was a little flat. Can you take that again?
Weird. It says I exit the podcast forever. Subsick Alien.
Subterranean homesick alien.
You're right. I shortened it. I didn't feel like typing the whole thing out. I appreciate you correcting me.
You're welcome.
I feel like all these songs would be played over like scenes in a movie or a TV show where people are just like high as fuck. Just like one of those scenes where people are like drug tripping. I feel like most of these songs would fit pretty well over a like distorted first person view.
I can see this one definitely.
Changing colors.
I'd probably cry my eyes out if I was high listening to this album.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I probably would.
The vocals in these songs were a bit better than the previous two, but the screeching sounds scratched my brain in like a bad way.
Like the like
yeah, I
that.
think so.
Okay.
They happened a couple times throughout. So I ended up giving that song like a 4 out of 10, which is the highest so far.
Okay.
What a jump. Exit music for a film. I Googled what film because it was made for a movie, and it was made for Romeo plus Juliet, the Leonardo DiCaprio one where they all have guns. Yeah, this song was made for that movie.
Was it
Are
made
you
for that?
serious?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. A little bit more respect to that movie then.
I don't know that.
It actually made me lose respect.
That's fair, honestly.
Yeah.
I do hate Romeo and
But
Juliet.
yeah, it was made
on
for the
principle.
Bax Lerman Romeo plus Juliet. with
Interesting.
DiCaprio and Danes.
I thought that was just like an edgy title
That's what I
that
thought
they
too.
had.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like somebody who did the history didn't do enough research.
Dude, okay.
I continue.
I don't know why I wrote that in the script. That was so mean.
And then you half-heartedly defended yourself in the script. He's trying to gain. He wants the audience to feel bad for him so that they take his side. This is getting really meta. This script is
Yeah.
really meta.
Don't worry.
especially
I already wrote Matt's apology for when when his allegations come out.
3 episodes. We're getting ahead of the allegations. I continue to describe Romeo plus Juliet as the one with guns and John Leguizamo. Anyway, I found the song is just kind of like nothing to me. But it was the best so far. I gave it like a 5 out of 10. It felt kind of mid to me.
Okay.
I didn't really care for it. That's a theme you'll notice as my description for a lot of these.
Mm-hmm.
Letdown. This song perfectly describes the whole album. I'm funny.
It was right
I
there.
forgot that note.
It was right there.
That's a good note. Karma Police. The scratchy sound in the last like 20 seconds really ruined it for me a bit. Not that I liked it much prior, but it was like the cherry on top, but like in the negatives, like a shit, like
the
a
piss
poop
cherry
top.
on the shit sundae.
Exactly.
Yeah.
3 out of 10. Fitter, Happier. I hate saying that. That's just upsetting to come out of my mouth.
This is your favorite track on the album?
Why have we had so many robots on this damn show? I tried to listen to what he was saying. It was just too much for me.
Oh, it's
also
robot voice,
not
Matt.
a song, so I don't really know how to rate it.
It's an interlude.
I didn't really rank. I didn't give it a number out of 10 because it wasn't a song.
Live ranking right now.
I don't remember it at all. I've listened to this once and went, I don't want to listen to it again.
Get along with my neighbors.
Probably
Yeah, it
5
just
out
lists
of 10.
things with like a Stephen Hawking kind of voice.
5 out of 10 for that is honestly kind of good.
I
though.
don't remember it though, so like if I listen to it, it might be
Might
lower
drop.
or it might be a little higher. I don't.
Might be a little fitter.
I
happier.
feel like I wouldn't have been like, why are there so many damn robots on the show? I do remember, however, having the thought of like, people are gonna think I hate robots, which is not true.
It's a great movie.
it is a fantastic.
It's
movie.
a fucking incredible movie, actually.
Get up off of that thing.
Big Weld. Some of
He's an icon.
why can't I remember the actor's name?
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks'
Yeah.
best work.
I was also gonna say that.
Blazing Saddles. That's a good song. All of his movies have like weird but kind of good theme songs. Like the Spaceballs theme song.
Oh yeah.
Watch out.
Did you know there was a Spaceballs animated series?
Yes, I did. I heard it was quite bad.
I heard that too.
I'd watch it still. Electioneering.
Yep.
The most potential in the start thus far, but it's still just kind of a returning favorite, mid-leaning ass.
Oh, good.
I love when AJ includes callbacks in the script. It was kind of annoying though.
The audience-
5.5 out of 10.
The audience likes the fan service. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Exactly,
This
yeah.
is becoming a nostalgia-based podcast for earlier episodes of our own
And
podcast.
we're also critics, so does that make us...
Climbing Up the Walls reminded me of the intro music for the 2004 animated show The Batman.
Oh,
okay.
interesting.
Gotcha.
That being said, this was not as good. It got very overstimulating. I think the Batman intro would get overstimulating if it was longer. That version, it's only like a 20-second like clip.
Yeah.
I feel like they also change it, and it gets worse when they change it.
And Batman's also
unfortunately.
not on this track.
That-
So,
yeah, well, this isn't
Nirvana.
isn't Purple Rain.
exactly.
Prince, that's his name. I can't remember any names today. No Surprises. Felt safe. I didn't love it. This band is clearly not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
It just felt
we
like
figured.
a kind of,
What do you mean by safe?
like all the other songs I didn't like, but I could tell that they were like experimental to some degree, or at least just like I don't know, that sort of vibe. I feel like I'm very good now at knowing when something is gonna, like when I hear it. Obviously, it's in like the top 1,000 albums to listen to before you die. That we should. This is unrelated. We should track how many of these I've listened to are on that.
Yeah.
And we should score them like a tom of like doesn't or does, and see if we go through all 1,000. Will I like more than half?
Ah, I see.
That'd be a fun place. If we get that far, that'd be a very, very fun experiment. To
A majority
try.
of these
And
albums.
it's because it's 1,001. There can't be a tie.
That's true.
It'll at
Yeah,
most
there won't-
it
we
could
have
be
a definitive
500
answer.
to 501.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I won't like a lot of them.
I'm going to say yes.
What was I saying before that?
Something about
Oh,
no
why I
surprises.
felt like it was safe. I feel like I can tell when a song is something that you guys were gonna like, and it's like in an experimental way.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how it affects my opinions about it, because I hear it, I'm like, oh, they would love this, and then I continue to hate it anyway.
I see.
And I feel like there's a part of me that feels a little bad about it, but not like really.
Because you hate albums.
I do. It's my whole shtick.
Would you be surprised to know that this is one of their most popular songs
I'd say
on
like
Spotify?
No,
Second
that makes
most
sense.
popular.
It feels like
Yeah.
it's the most mainstream of the songs that I had listened to on here.
It recently.
The other ones
actually.
felt pretty like, again, this is the one I felt safe,
Mm-hmm.
which usually the like safe sort of not too much going on songs. Those are the ones that tend
Are
to
popular,
trend and
yeah.
become the most popular. So that makes sense to me. Lucky honestly left little to no impression on me. So I just gave it like a 3 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Tourist, slower, which I think suits them better in my opinion. Less stimulating, which I appreciate in the first half, but ramps up a bit and kind of loses me towards the end.
Interesting.
So I ended up giving it like a 4.5 out of 10. 4 out of 5 out of 10. if
Of
you
I
will.
course.
see,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 out of 10.
4/5 out of 10.
That is kind of
Um,
interesting. You prefer like the more kind of slowed, stripped back version of Radiohead as opposed to the more upbeat like style.
think they give me a headache, which seems to be a recurring. Maybe I just have something like maybe I just need to go to the doctor and I'd be able to appreciate this music better. But I feel like a lot of these songs are like all over the place. So, I don't know.
Well, Matt, do you want to get into your thoughts?
Experimental.
I'm quite fond of Airbags. I think I texted AJ the first time I listened to it and went, wow,
Yep.
this track is really awesome.
I mean, they do save lives.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, this wasn't about the song.
Imagine
Just the concept.
the concept of airbags
Yeah.
in cars, which is a bold stance to
Yeah,
take.
poll of the week. Are you for or against airbags?
Personally, I'm against them.
2 out of 10.
I'd rather shoot through the windshield.
If you get in a crash, it's your fault.
I had it coming.
Jesus Christ. I like this track. It sets the tone very well. The guitars are super heavy. I love how it starts the motif of like the sleigh bells and
Yep.
like the other weird percussion they use on this record. It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Paranoid Android, I will say I'm not that fond of the beginning, but like the middle part to
Oh my
the
god,
end,
yeah. So good.
dude, like I could listen to that for hours. Like something at time of recording also, it's snowing or it was snowing and like there's snow all over the ground and something about just like looking at like the snowy landscape and looking at this and listening to this, I was like, wow,
To be fair, snow is quite normal in Providence, Rhode Island.
that's true.
Specifically on 34th Street.
But
How do you think the miracles happen if
Yeah.
there's no snow?
In Providence, Rhode
Every
Island.
time Tom
Providence, Rhode
reviews an
Island.
album.
Just with Radiohead here, Providence, honestly, the sun was shining on Providence this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it was
Nothing
snowing.
Nothing like a beautiful snow sun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A snow shine, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love how Paranoid Android starts off with like sort of like a coffee shop sounding percussion, and then it just gets this really like chorus, like choir
Yeah, man.
almost. Like
Then the switch up with the time
it's
signatures.
kind of wild.
Ooh.
Subterranean Alien.
Hell yeah, I totally caught that. The switch up of the time signatures. I love when time signatures
Yeah, what
switch
did they
up.
switch to?
Oh,
What's a what?
God, it had to be
Yeah,
from,
you got it.
from 3:30 to 4.
He's right, actually. That was around the time where I listened to it.
They have the mastery.
The Matt story.
Yeah.
Tom, we have a reoccurring bit where I don't say history of like when the album was released. I say the history of when I listened to the album.
Oh,
so I'll be
what's
like,
happening?
So I'll be like, oh, this album was critically acclaimed by me, and I listened to it on my couch at around 11:30
with my Sennheiser headphones.
I actually remember Paranoid Android. I read the history. You were taking a shit during that song?
You know, that's honestly not that far off.
in rhythm to 7/8.
In rhythm. Wait, what the fuck?
From 3:30 to 4, you were taking a shit while listening to Paranoid Android.
It's
And
like-
that's the time signature that changed.
I hate to quote Family Guy, but there is a moment in Family Guy where Peter like has like a shitting competition with this guy in the
good.
bathroom, and that's the only thing I can think of in this scenario.
Classic bit.
Thanks for running that in, AJ, and making me remember it.
You're welcome.
Honestly. Subterranean Alien is really cool. I love the deep, dark sound of like the reverb electric guitar, and it
Yeah.
sounds really spacious. The Wurlitzer is crisp as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever heard it sound like that, honestly. And this isn't the one with the Wurlitzer. There's another one on here, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
The one with the Wurlitzer is an American football song.
It is.
Yeah.
And I remember loathing it.
I did the first time I listened to it. But now it's honestly still not my favorite, if I'm being honest.
You just got to play Resident Evil 4, dude.
Yes. You
Is
played
that's
it
all it
in
takes.
Resident Evil 4?
No, I
Oh.
listened to it while playing Resident Evil 4.
And that's how I liked it.
And then I was
Yeah.
like, I get it now. Not really. I just listen to a lot of music when I do random shit. But anyway, I'm going to keep going, just saying, because I love all the tracks, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Same.
maybe, maybe with the exception of like one, which I think is the weakest one. But exit music for a film, I really enjoyed this. Kind of reminds me of like there's like this one Pink Floyd song off an album we listened to recently.
Okay.
I think it was
On
off
Animals?
of Animals. There was like a really nice acoustic guitar moment.
Oh, gotcha.
And it reminded me of that, which is the spacious, like, again, like echo and reverb. And I really, really enjoyed that a lot. Also, I just love the drums on this one once they kick in. It feels really cinematic, which is great because it's for a film.
Exactly.
Let Down, honestly, might be one of my favorite tracks on this record.
Yeah,
it's
I love this
perfect. The e-piano and the guitar and their own channels, just they trade off in the best way. And the bass on here is some of the best I think I hear on the record. Karma Police sounds like Wild World by Cat Stevens.
I see.
And there's a part of me that like every single time I hear the intro, I'm like, ooh, baby, baby. Karma Police.
Couldn't agree more.
It sounds like it to me.
That's
I don't
one
know
of my
why.
favorite songs.
I actually really like that song.
I don't know if I know it.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
I mean, it's one of my favorites.
Wild World by Cat Stevens?
No.
Oh, I'll play it after. It's fun.
But just the comparison of Karma Police and Cat Stevens, I find funny.
It is a very
Yeah.
funny thing.
Go like, hey, I heard you were a wild word.
Karma Police also has great sounding piano. It's really like bassy. And the drums, they sound like saggy.
Yeah, like they drag.
Yeah, a little bit.
This whole album sounded like it dragged. You know what I mean?
I love the
Guess.
I love the subcore, like the midway through the subchorus when he's singing like I'll Ask Myself. It's really cool. Fit or Happier, it's an interlude. It's goofy. It's got some music. I can't say I think like the highest of this song because there's not really much to like
Dissect.
besides the fact that it's there to sort of pace the album a bit more, which I think this album also has pretty good pacing.
Yeah.
Climbing Up the Walls, this song reminds me of like the end of Cold Blows the Wind by Ween.
Yeah, it is a very ominous track, and like that's the whole point about it.
I fuck with it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would go to it like a lot, but I do enjoy it. Or at least I did on the 3 times that I listened. The drums have a really like bonky feel to them.
Yeah.
Almost Saint Angerish, but in like a good way.
Yeah, done correctly.
Like it works because like they were trying to take it like seriously and like so is this, but
they have like tact and
yes. No Surprises is one of the most popular songs by Radiohead, and I understand why. It's good. That riff that just plays throughout the whole song, it's trended on TikTok like for a whole year.
Interesting.
Which is it's not like one that's talked about a lot, but when people are like going through shit and they decide to document it, they have this playing underneath.
That's valid.
Which makes sense because
Yeah, because I was going through it the whole time I had to listen to this album.
there were no surprises there.
I mean, the lyrics are quite literally a job that slowly kills you. So I mean,
You can just say a job.
yeah, it's true. Honestly,
This podcast.
it's a very good
I
point.
quit.
AJ, this might be a hot take. I don't know how you feel about the song or any of the tracks in general, to be honest with you. I think Lucky might be like the weakest track on the record.
I can
if
see
I'm
why.
being honest.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he agrees. Shit.
That wasn't in the script.
I didn't read ahead
He,
of the script.
he wrote in the script so that you would agree with him.
That's crazy.
Also, for those listening at home, if you're upset with any of my opinions, AJ wrote them. So, really, who's the bad guy?
No, he's playing a character. I'm writing a character. This isn't the real Tom.
AJ uses
Tom
me
is
as
a
a
facade.
I am a vehicle
Tom's
for
a
his real
concept.
voice.
Tom is a concept, yes.
This is the most meta script I've ever read.
Tom is my self-insert.
Yeah.
a vehicle for
I'm
his real
AJ's
voice.
self-insert into what was once a fan fiction of a podcast that is now we're reading aloud.
Since we are all just characters,
Based
if you-
around Gravity Falls specifically.
listen,
Yes, I'm the Seuss insert.
oh God.
That is Wendy.
Oh man, actually, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Wendy's cool.
And AJ's the pig.
Since we're all
Walls.
characters,
Well,
if you
yeah.
want my email, I can give it to you again. It's mattglass at rule34
at catboy at hotmail.com .exe.
.exe.
Yeah.
UK. That is also a reoccurring bit that's happened like the last 3 times.
Yep. Can't get rid of it.
You can't get rid of it.
Nope.
But if you have any art, just send it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucky, I think genuinely might be, in my opinion, like the weakest track on here.
I can see why.
Mostly because I think everything else is so solid that like besides like separating the track before it and the track after it, which is the last one,
Yeah.
I don't really see a purpose for it otherwise. I also don't think lyrically it like grabs me nearly as much as the other ones. But I think it's still pretty okay for what it is. I think The Tourist works as a closer. It works super well. It's really slow, which I think also I would agree with Tom. That's where they really thrive. Like they like do a good job because like his vocal styling is very interesting. Tom York.
Yep, Tom York.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. It's like he rolled out of bed, but I'm happy to hear it. You know what I mean?
A lot of
like me
wailing.
with the podcast.
Yeah.
We're
I
recording
really
this.
come in here and I half-ass it.
We're recording this at 4:30 in the morning. By the way,
Because this is the day before this goes out.
yeah,
Actually, 30 minutes
Day
before
of,
it goes
yeah.
live. Yeah.
They don't let me sleep.
Nope.
no,
We keep them in a chamber.
It's true. A chamber of secrets. This is
And
a
acid.
Harry Potter podcast.
the Matt Stalisk. Anyway,
I'm going to show you my Matt Stalisk.
I am quite fond of this album. I will get to my overall thoughts after AJ gives his thoughts, but I can't say that I did not enjoy this album at all.
Was this your first time listening to it?
Like, yeah, these last 3 times were like my first time listening. A lot of songs did come on like in various playlists.
Yeah.
Like Spotify will always recommend me anything in the alt rock scene, and this album is like a staple in the alt rock scene because they are figureheads in like alternative rock. So much so that this is a timeless album.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Especially with like all like the commentary that is like on this album. It still applies to stuff today.
Oh my God, without a doubt. What I was just gonna say was like Subterranean Alien has been in a lot of like my recommended like algorithmic playlists.
Gotcha.
Exit Music for a Film, I'm more than positive is another one, and I always enjoyed that song.
Yeah.
Like any song that has like a like next to it, I'm like, oh yeah, I probably liked it, and then I listen back to it if it's like an album that I'm supposed to listen to for this, and I'm
And they're like, okay, I liked it.
oh my gosh, yeah, no, it's great, and I'll give my favorite tracks at the end.
Nice. I do quite enjoy this album. I feel like Radiohead's a band that like I haven't really super connected with. I've only listened to 2 albums though. 2 of their biggest ones, this one and Kid A. But upon this re-listen, I do really enjoy this album. I feel like this was the one that kind of like concretely cemented that I do quite enjoy OK Computer. Airbag is a phenomenal opener. Like even though it has like such melancholic energy and like the lyrics and the vocal delivery, it just still rips so hard with the instrumental. And something I noticed about this album is just the drum work. I love a lot. Like
It's really good.
the patterns are like really fun. There's a lot of offbeat syncopation stuff, which I really dig. The production on this album is also really cool. There's like so much going on, but it always serves the tone of the album, and they play with channels brilliantly.
They do. And kind of another thing to say about the drums, might I add, they're like mixed on the quieter side for a lot of these songs, but they're still prominent enough where they still have impact, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
And the syncopation was definitely offbeat. I did notice that.
That's right, Tom.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. That's just a little insight that I've gained.
That he's given AJ, actually.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I noticed. Yeah, you actually switched those words when you said it, so I had to rearrange them properly.
Are you trying to gaslight me?
He asked
Trying?
pensively.
I'm
Gosh.
succeeding.
I like Paranoid Android a lot. This is one that I never really like gravitated towards like when first listening, but I actually really love it, and it's one of my favorite tracks. Like just the middle section, like you said, is brilliant. That bass riff that like goes on is like so infectious.
And the vocals, like Jesus
I
Christ.
know. And like I said, the 7/8/4/4 switches are so fucking fun. I loved like figuring out like hearing that for the first time, like, oh shit, that's 7. I was like, damn, that rules. There's also a screaming guitar solo that happens. It definitely fucks all the way down, and it does sound like a really like cool composition. I like it a lot. I dig Subterranean Homesick Alien. I think it's very cool for what it is. I just really love the guitar tones on that as well as the drum beat.
Me too.
Exit Music for a Film, one of the bigger Radiohead songs, which I like in concept, but I don't really like listening to it on the album. I think it's solid for what it is. It's very well like composed, and definitely sounds like it is for a film. Just like the cacophony of voices they have on the verses are very creepy. Like all the choir stuff makes it feel like very grandiose and operatic, which is nice. I really like Let Down a lot. Let Down's one of my favorites. I think it's a very nice follow up to Exit Music as well, kind of bringing up some more like positive energy after that. And like you said, Tom York's vocal delivery is really nice here. Karma Police is one of their biggest songs, and I can see why for a reason. It's very ominous, but it has just such like an epic kind of like backbeat to it. I can definitely see why it's so popular, and the key change is like really fucking nice. Fit or Happier, probably my least favorite track on the album. For an interlude, it is what it is. It does what it needs to, just kind of talking about society. I really like Electioneering. I think it's one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Did I mention that one?
I don't think you
I
did.
skipped it.
Yeah.
That's the one that's like really punchy, right?
Yeah.
Like super like
Like a
roots rock
Strokes-esque.
almost.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one too.
Yeah, that one's a banger. I think it definitely kind of set the tone for where like rock was. This whole album definitely kind of set the tone for where rock was going to go in the 2000s, and I think Electioneering kind of really encapsulates that. Just like how like shredding those guitars are, and just like the very clear political commentary is really cool. I like Climbing Up the Walls, but like you said, I would not seek it out, but I like it where it is on the album. It definitely does what it's trying to achieve by just like using this like element of fear and paranoia to just like really get to you in terms of the lyrics and just the music. It just sounds very disorienting.
I would say that song is probably my second least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe Lucky would be like my least favorite, and then
Yeah.
that one's probably like right behind it.
I can see why. I think I just grew an appreciation for it. No Surprises is perfect in my opinion. I think it's phenomenal. I just love the juxtaposition of like the happy, almost childlike instrumental with just like these lyrics talking
Soul
about
crushing.
yeah,
Like,
how your society fucking blows and the system is broken. I'll agree with you. I feel like instrumentally, Lucky's not super interesting. I like the song concept though, about just kind of like how you want someone to save you, but like you need to be the one to like save yourself sometimes is pretty cool. And then the Tours I think is a very fitting closer, though not a favorite. It's very kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel at the whole thing, but it's just not like super interesting to listen to, but I think it's definitely good for what it is.
I think it's also kind of hard, like at that point when the pacing was, pretty slow for the most of the way through.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to like have another slow song that is as captivating, but
Yeah.
it works as a closer, I think.
I agree. So Tom, did you hate this album?
I mean, yeah, probably. It's definitely one of the lower ends of the spectrum. Should I give I guess this is the ranking.
Yeah, what
time.
didn't you like
I
about
didn't
it?
have to bleep it out. It was great.
That's true.
The offbeat syncopation was just not there for me. It wasn't offbeat in the way that I like it to be.
Because you like to be beat off, right?
Yeah, I prefer to be beat off. I like to sync my patience when I get beat off. I'd give it I'm back and forth in my head to like 2 to 3 out of 10-ish. I think you guys are right where your predictions were. I'm leaning 2.5, but I'm not like confident in it. You know what I mean? And I think it's because I didn't write it down ahead of time, so now I feel bad like giving
Matt, it's okay. I write the scripts, it was bound to
Yeah,
happen.
it's obviously I'm gonna pick 2.5 out of 10 because that's what the script says. So that AJ always looks so smart and correct.
Exactly.
That's why if you go back, he's never gotten one wrong.
I feel like I have steam
because
coming out of my ears.
of
like
the
low key.
script. The script always says that AJ's guesses correctly.
That's right, especially in season 1 of this show.
And if you see any problems in previous episodes, comment them down below and let us know so we can go adjust the script and
That's
re-edit
true.
those episodes.
Exactly. We'll re-record them and put them out in the proper way they were meant to be heard.
Yeah, yes. We'll release the AJ version.
The
Yeah, the AJ
AJ's
cut.
version
Yeah.
of the family album. Yeah, probably like 2 out of 3 out of 10.
I
if
see,
had to,
yeah.
Valid.
It's mid leaning ass for sure. It's definitely leaning heavily closer to the hole. I know the last time we used this analogy, we said the hole was like the mid, but that felt wrong to me.
Oh, we
I
said the
think
crack.
the crack.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So the crack is like a little bit, but the hole
That's the ass.
That's a 0 out of
Yeah.
10 right there.
So
So it's like in the crack, but like a little up.
above the hole.
Yeah.
So
Poop is close, but it's not touching yet.
so where would this fall in like your echelon of albums?
It's above American football, I think.
okay. That's
Um,
good, I guess.
Mhm.
in order to truly know if that, I'd probably have to re-listen to American football, which I simply refuse to do. So it's gonna remain a 1.5 out of 10.
Matt, what are your final thoughts on OK Computer?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on being a fucking loser who didn't guess my ranking correct?
The subterranean alien, if you will.
Oh, and I'd give it like a D minus.
A D minus.
probably.
Look at that.
If it beats me off, I'll give it my D minus. If you know what I mean, fellas.
Are you gonna do your
Phil Spector was a 5-ish out of 10, which I guess that makes sense. It was just Christmas music.
Mhm.
But I ranked it lower. I remember saying it's a 5 out of 10, but it doesn't deserve to be in the 5 out of 10
Yeah.
area because it's Christmas music. So it's not as like
with that tier of albums.
It's
Yeah.
only I feel like it's only a 5 out of 10 for
honorary.
1 month of the
Yeah.
year, and the rest of the year it's not really worth listening to.
It's just off the list.
That's fair. Honestly.
off the list.
For me, this album I feel really takes you for a ride, despite the overall tone of it being on like the more somber side, which I really enjoy. I love the strong emphasis on guitar work, as these are 4 words that I used in my notes. The guitar shines, wails, rips, and fucks hard.
You are correct.
All the way down.
They do.
if
All
you
the way
will.
down.
Yeah.
It shines
After
all the
7
way
minutes.
down.
It wails all the way. Anyway, it feels like the drums are able to adapt to like all the different types of like vibes that they're trying to go for. From more like intimate sounding ones to ones with a lot more of like a punchy feeling to them. You really see this on like Electioneering. My bad. Their synthesizer work is honestly like textbook usage of soundscaping, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially since it came out in 97.
97.
Which is insane. I connect with the emotional impact of the lyrics too, from what I was like gathering. I like how they hit on topics of like anxiety and depression without just like telling me
Yeah. There's like
telling me why. I mean,
yeah. There's a lot of good like
telling me
imagery and metaphor. Yeah.
and it's done really well, I feel. And I think the production quality just really allows the listener to see how well all the instruments are really mixed.
How syncopated they are.
Exactly.
Offbeat, if you
to
will.
make it sound very cinematic. I would give this like an A- and probably like a 9. Maybe like a 9 out of 10.
Valid.
I would say.
I think next episode, me and Matt should bring our bongos, and then AJ can judge a beat off.
I can't wait to judge this beat off. There's your cutback.
Thank you. AJ, what do you
I won.
That's what he sounds like when he plays the bongo. Put bongo sound effects underneath.
AJ, what did you think of this album?
I really like OK Computer. I think it gets better every time I re-listen to it, and I definitely have like a better appreciation for the overall concept. And I think the music and the lyrics reflect it beautifully. It's basically just about like becoming out of touch with society and just like becoming very like isolated, very anxious, just about like the way the world is going. And you can even like see that on the album cover. It's very barren, and it's like this black and white picture of like a highway with like graffiti all around it. The musicianship is impeccable all the way through. Like the guitar work is capable of carrying heavy emotions even without Tom York's vocals, and just like the way that they're mixed, basically hearing both unique guitar part in both channels is very impressive. And just like their solos are also really well done, and the different tones they achieve is also excellent. Like on Subterranean Homesick Alien, like I mentioned, the drum work is a highlight for me. I just love all the different kind of beats and syncopation that Philip Selway achieves on this album. I think it's very interesting just to like dissect the different patterns he plays. And like you said, they definitely amplify whatever tone like the song is going for. The bass work is also really fucking good.
It is.
I feel like I didn't talk about it that much, but it is solid. Like they're all fantastic musicians. And Tom York is a very interesting frontman. Like his vocal styling is very unique, but it is perfect for the sound that they are trying to achieve. And it's just like, it's very emotional. Like you can definitely feel what he's feeling like whenever he's like on the mic. And then like the overall like other kind of instrumentals they have, like I feel like there's orchestral elements at least like a few times.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And they're wonderful. The choirs that they have in here really just bolster like that emotional impact or just make everything feel so grandiose. And like the use of different instruments like sleigh bells or like other auxiliary percussion really just goes to show. What?
Pitch percussion.
Pitch percussion, the glockenspiel on No
Pitch
Surprises.
Perfect 3, the film with Flula.
Oh, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that man.
I forgot about Flula as
Yeah,
well.
he was in the Suicide Squad.
His
He
Instagram
was.
is so funny.
Yeah, it's very good.
Anyway, AJ.
I add so much to this podcast. Weird that you wrote that in the script. And then this.
Was there?
I know, right?
Daddy? Why did you have me call you Daddy and then have me question it?
And then
This
have you
is
take your
too-
pants off.
This is too meta.
Tom, if you read the stage directions, says happens after the episode. I'll just finish my thoughts, and we can talk about this afterwards. I think this album is wonderfully constructed and very powerful. It's immaculate to listen to from a sonic perspective as well as an introspective perspective, and I think it gets better every time I listen to it. So I'm going to give it a solid A tier. Quite enjoy it.
I feel like I almost put it in like A+, or even like S was like kind of
Really?
it
On
was
the
kind of
cusp?
bordering. Only thing is, like, although I think it achieves everything it's trying to so well, and I love what I'm hearing, same time, I don't know if I would listen to this album all the time, because then otherwise I might get depressed.
That's fair. There's a lot of negativity
But
in
like
this album.
I'm not shaming anybody who would. I just think for
Yeah.
me, it would probably alter my brain chemistry a little too much.
That's fair.
I am shaming anyone who would. You have bad music taste.
That brings up a good point. Tom, why do you think this album is so popular?
I mean, I think I've gotten pretty good at just being able to like eyeball the syncopate. No, just like eyeball the like. I can tell when music is like a little more experimental, or like I can just tell what kind of music you guys would like. I think at this point, because of the podcast, and usually that's what like music people, like people who would listen to albums and stuff like that, would like. I know. I feel like I can just tell now, and I have no way of describing it. It's like a sixth sense that I have.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like the fifth element.
What are your favorite songs, do you think?
My favorite songs: Let Down, Paranoid Android, Airbag, No Surprises, and Karma Police.
Did he leave any out? I mean, Jesus, it's like he named every song on the album.
I would go as far. It's a really good album.
It is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty
You
much,
would say that.
I'd pretty much say the same thing. Like
Weird writing.
I'd say Airbags, Paranoid Android, Exit Music I'm quite fond of, Let Down, and then yeah, I'd say like No Surprises, and probably that's it.
Yeah, fair enough. Tom, what are your favorite tracks?
I don't know if I remember the names of any of them. I guess I'll pull up my list of the songs. I liked the Sub Alien. I always
opposed
thought
to
he
the
was more of a
Dom.
Dom.
The Dom healthy alien versus the
Yeah.
sub sick alien.
Dom Healthy Alien.
I opened my phone and I had the Phil Spector one up and I almost said Rudolph.
There are sleigh bells in that one, probably.
That's true.
Which is funny.
I guess my highest ranking one was Electioneering with a 5.5 out of 10.
That checks out.
Makes sense.
Wild to rank it as mid. Because the second half is mid leaning ass, but I liked the first. Okay,
Obviously.
I thought it'd be wild to say mid leaning ass and then give it a 5.5 out of 10.
That'd be silly.
Yeah, that's ass leaning mid.
Of course.
It's all relative here on the family album.
I think that'll do it for this episode of Tom Hates Albums.
Boy, do I.
Any final thoughts, gents?
Matter rata tata.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh man.
Well, this has been Tom Hates Albums. I'm your host, Adri Tenari,
I'm Matt Glass.
And I'm Tom Murphy.
and we will see you next month.
Peace.
Matter rata tata.